What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Welcome back to a new season of Queen Sugar, season 6, episode 1. Now, I really feel like they should be calling this season 5, episode 11, because I feel like we got that abbreviated season, and I can appreciate them giving it to us. I feel like this is more of a continuation, but neither here nor there. We start this season off, and it looks like we've excelled about 6 months. Judging by Darla's belly, we're about 6 months past where we left off. Remember, we left off with Darla finding out she was pregnant. So maybe about 6 months, child shit. Anyway, so we're sort of on the downside of when the numbers were going down, right? And we were starting to feel better about ourselves. That was before these new Greek alphabet variants then came into it, but we'll talk about that. That's another conversation for another day. We see Micah is doing an online class. It looks like he's in some sort of an exchange program with Frankfurt. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when they first said Frankfurt, I thought, and she was talking about this cultural diverse exchange situation, I thought they were talking about Frankfurt, Germany. I ain't even gonna lie. But then I feel like they talking about something a little closer to home, because we're gonna get there in a second. I'll tell you why I say that. But his professor seems to be very impressed with him, and he's talking about Marcus Garvey and comparison to the lyrics of Bob Marley Redemption song, and I was here for it. That's a conversation that I could get into. I could have been in that class, okay? He gets out of class, and immediately Charlie calls him. Now we find out Charlie is on the West Coast. She is down in LA at some sort of symposium leadership conference for the Democratic Party. Now, they don't identify by Democrat, but they say the party, the party, the party. And then she says how she's looking forward to having this conversation. To seeing the keynote address by Miss, Auntie Maxine. So it could only be the Democratic Party, okay? We see Prosper and Ralph Angel, and that's when we see Darla. Like I said, Darla belly. She looked like she about 6-7 months. The baby is clearly here, and we see them talking about the numbers are coming down, and we find out that Blue is doing well. He is loving the school. He's still in DC. He calls every day, sends a picture every day, and a new baby name every day. Right, so they letting us know what's going on with Blue. Prosper is talking about, how he appreciates, how things have been going, and that we found out that Ralph Angel has organized a lawsuit against the government for discriminatory practices as it relates to black farmers. And Prosper is like, listen, I appreciate you doing that. I appreciate you, mobilizing us and trying to get us to get a piece of the pie. We've been pushed around, disrespected, disregarded, and I appreciate you spearheading it. He was like, even if we don't get no money out of it, I appreciate the fact that you even did it for us. And Ralph Angel was like, listen, it had to be done. We've been, we just been treated bad, and so hopefully the government's gonna do right by us and give us all a little piece of change, right? Then we go down to the diner, and we see that Aunt Vi is doing what Aunt Vi does, honey. Somebody's trying to pay, and he said, how much do I owe you? She said, what can you afford? He said, well, I don't want to take advantage of you. I'm back at work now. She said, I know you back at work, but you're still trying to get caught up. You still struggling. Okay, give me what you can give me, and I'll take that. And when you good, you good. Like, it is what it is. We also see that Nova is organizing a vaccine drive, and so they're helping Nova get ready for that, doing bag lunches and things like that. So everybody is busy. Everybody has gotten sort of back in the swing of things, and that's what we're seeing. Now we also see where Ralph Angel's wife excuse me, y'all. We also see where Darla is trying to get Ralph Angel to go talk to Aunt Vi, and we see Hollywood trying to get Aunt Vi to talk to Ralph Angel. Now we find out that Blue was in town for during the summer at some point, and from what I picked up from the conversation, Aunt Vi didn't see Blue because she would have had to actually talk to Ralph Angel. And so, Hollywood was like, so basically what you're saying is your pride is bigger than your love for Blue because you got your nephew's phone number. She was like, and my nephew got mine. And they were like, Hollywood was like, okay, but it's Blue. Like, if you wanted to see Blue, you should have went to see Blue. Because she had this blueberry pie that she was trying to hold on to, and she wouldn't let let Hollywood cut, because somebody paid for a slice of blueberry pie, and she wouldn't let them cut it. She said, listen, this is the last blueberry pie, and that is for Blue. So I don't know if she mailing the pie to Blue, or Blue was going to be in town. That part of the story, it kind of went over my head. I know y'all going to get me together in the comments. But either way, Ralph Angel and Ava still ain't talking about the whole Blue situation. And Hollywood is still trying to let Ava know she wrong. Like, she was wrong, and she need to apologize to Ralph Angel. Ava feels like, I'm the elder, I'm the adult, I'm grown, and no, I don't owe nobody an apology, right? So then we see Nova. Nova is still doing her thing with her website, her whistleblower website and all of that, and making some headway, right? She's doing some big things, making some headway. We see her meet up with a cop from the New Orleans Police Department as a whistleblower, and she's telling him, listen, you don't have to worry about me. You can trust me. I have never violated, one of my sources, but this information needs to get out. We need people to understand about, defunding the police. And he was like, listen, I got a question to ask you. Like, at the end of the day, you had one of these dirty cops, like, up in your house. How do I know I can trust you? She said, listen, that was a personal matter that don't have nothing to do with this. And I promise you, that's not going to stop me from working as hard for you as I would work for anybody else. I will protect you. I will protect my source. But this information needs to be put out there. And you could tell he's very hesitant. Okay, but he went on and gave Nova the information. Later on that night, we see Nova go home. Her door's open. She's looking for her keys. She can't find her keys. And, of course, she sees her door open, and she immediately gets nervous and scared. But her house isn't ransacked. Nothing looked like it's ajar. And then she sees her keys on the counter, and she was like, oh, my gosh. She's like, Nova, you need to slow down. You scaring yourself. You moving too fast. You was just trying to get out of here too fast this morning. You need to chill out. You need to chill out. So then we see Charlie in her little bikini. She got on one of her little sun hats and her little sunglasses, honey. We see her walking through the pool area. And then she ducks into one of the private cabanas. And who was in there chilling, wine, and getting the mood right? Davis. And come to find out, Charlie and Davis have been dating, honey. They have been seeing each other. They have been doing it and making do what it do. And he said, listen, I am so glad that we are in this place again where you could just lay here and I can just hold you. And we can, he said, I'm really glad that you are giving me a second chance. And she said, I know. She said, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on that trust factor, but I am happy to be here. And I'm glad that we are dating. I'm glad that we have found our way back to each other. She said, how would you feel if I decided to go deeper into politics? Because she had been invited there, as part of the, I guess, movers and shakers, up and comers. And she said, well, how would you feel if I dug deeper into politics? Like, if I went beyond just St. Joe's Parish? And he was like, I'm here for it. He said, listen, I got it. I'll be your biggest cheerleader. You were there for me all those years. You had my back. You did for me. I'm here for you. Like, whatever you need, I'm here. And he said, but I tell you what, at some point, we're going to have to let the family know what's up. Like, I'm all for this. I respect why we kept this a secret. It needed to be kept a secret till we figured out what we were doing. But if we figured out what we're doing, we need to let them know what we're doing. And let them deal with however they're going to deal with it. Okay? She looked nervous, but she did sort of kind of agree with him. Then we see Hollywood going through his mother's stuff. And it's that bittersweet moment where he's got good memories, but then he remembers she ain't there no more. And so you see that he's still mourning and he's still processing. You see all the stuff is up in boxes, and he's probably trying to go through it when he can. That's a mental thing. That's a hard thing to have to process and go through somebody's things. And so you see him going through that. And then we see him meet up with, we see him go in the bedroom, and Ava was like, where you been? She said, this is date night. Did you forget? He said, nah, I ain't forget. But neither one of them are really in the mood to go anywhere. Now, let me rewind for a second. I forgot to tell y'all something. Back at the diner, Aunt Vi had some food she put aside for somebody that she couldn't call while Hollywood was around. She sent Hollywood to go get some containers for her, and then she didn't call somebody talking about I got something real good for you put aside. And then later on in the episode, we see her sneak off and go take the food. It looked like it was like a little no-tell motel situation. She gonna drop and leave the food by the door, knock on the door, and walk off. Now, I don't know who we think this is. Now, I don't think it's what we think it is. Like, I feel like they're trying to make us feel like Aunt Vi got her a boo thing on the side, which I ain't thinking that. I'm thinking that either... I don't know who I think it is, but I don't think that Aunt Vi is cheating on Hollywood. I don't think that's it. So then we see Micah in a strange looking bedroom. You know, and I was like, that ain't Micah dorm room and that ain't Micah bedroom. Okay? I don't know where Micah done woke up. Oh, after his mama got off the phone with him, he got a call from somebody that made him smile. Okay? So Aunt Vi is calling him, waking him up, fussing because I'm assuming they were supposed to meet for breakfast, and he said, I forgot. She said, well, where you at? How you forget? He told me I was at the library working on the paper. She said, oh, so they go to the library now? That's what we doing? She said, boy, look, you grown, okay? I don't care where you were. I don't care what you was doing. What I care is that you wasted my time. She said, all I'm saying is make sure that whatever you doing, you taking care of yourself so we don't have no little, babies running around here that we ain't ready for. But don't waste my time, okay? If me and you supposed to meet for breakfast and I come over there and I bring you food, be there. Now, I'll see you later at the vaccine drive. Because remember I told you that Nova's having a whole drive to, for the vaccines. And then we see this woman come through. Now, I feel like that's the woman. That's his professor. Now, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's the professor that he was online with that act like she didn't even know who he was. That's why I said that Frankfurt must not be Frankfurt, Germany. It must be like Frankfurt, Louisiana, I guess. Because I swear that's the professor. If it's not, it's another older black woman that Micah's sleeping with. But I think it's the professor. But I could be wrong. Either way, Micah got him a boo thing that's older. All right? And she said, your stamina is what attracts me to you. It makes me feel 10 years younger, okay? Oh. So next we see Ralph Angel and Darla down at the farm. And they getting this delivery. And Darla was like, did you order something? Because, we got this big old delivery coming through. He done bought a crib. And he done bought the crib that she wanted. And she immediately is like, thank you, but this crib is expensive. Like, we ain't got no money. And she said, and he was like, listen, don't worry about it. I got my crops coming in. We got this lawsuit. We gonna be good. And I want to do something for my baby. Don't worry about it. Now, I knew then we was in trouble. Because, listen, I have learned this lesson the hard way more times than I care to tell y'all. Don't spend money before you get it. Then we found out he done quit his job because he said that working at the nursing home was, a risky job and he didn't want to bring that around his child, which I can respect and understand. But at the end of the day, you can't be spending money you don't have, Ralph Angel. So then later on, we see that he getting cash advances. He done at his limit with the cash, the loan advance. And come to find out, they got to do a background check. He gonna tell the man he'll pass the background check. Last I checked, you got felonies, sir. I don't know what kind of background check you about to pass. I don't know what they looking for. But, sir, you have felonies. So, Ralph Angel is spending money he don't have yet based on the crops coming in and this lawsuit that later on in the episode we find out they still in the information gathering phase of the lawsuit. Like, lawsuits take years, Ralph Angel. I was like, we in trouble. And then we see him on the phone later on. Collections is calling him. He done took a loan out against the land. He's 60 days past due. He said, well, I thought y'all was going to work with me because of COVID. He said, we worked with you when we gave you this loan. At 90 days, we foreclosing. So he got 30 days to come up with basically at least 2 payments to get them off his back. Child, Ralph Angel, you do the right thing in the wrong way. I mean, anyway. So it's the day of the vaccine drive, and we see Nova picking up Mr. Prosper. And Mr. Prosper is like, you know what? I really appreciate what you're doing. He said this disease had people like me feeling like we weren't important, we weren't needed. It made us feel like we were throwaways, that the disease was just going to come and ravage us. He said, and a lot of us had some very dark days. And I just appreciate the fact that y'all were always there for me and y'all were always family. you know. Um, and she said, well, Mr. Prosper, please understand that we always got you. Like, we got you. Don't you worry about it. So, we get there. So, Nova pulls up to the vaccine to the vaccine drive, and legitimately, there are more people there than they anticipated. Like, a lot more people. Here's where I feel like Nova made the mistake. She said that she doesn't even think they have enough vaccines for the people that are there, and that her permit wasn't even for this many people, right? So the minute you showed up, you knew it was a problem. Immediately, you should have verified all information coming through. Because what happened was that vaccine drive was supposed to be for their parish. But you had people coming from other parishes to get the vaccine because they were desperate to get it. I get that. But you should have been checking ID from the door. But what happened was she waited until they were down to like 50 doses left to say, oh my gosh, we only have 50 doses and we got over 100 people still waiting. We need to start doing something. We need to, okay, let's verify their ID if they're not from here. And so, of course, it started looking like a black and white thing because the majority of the people from their parish are black. The people from outside of the parish are white. So now we got a problem. And I'm not blaming Nova for what ended up happening. I'm just saying, at the very beginning is when you should have started this ID process. You should have made an announcement, said, listen, this vaccine drive is for the people of St. Joe's Parish. If you are not a resident of St. Joe's Parish, I apologize in advance, but we're going to ask you to please get out of line. We're going to try to have another vaccine drive as soon as possible. But if you didn't make a reservation and you are not a resident, I'm going to have to ask you to step out of line. And if you don't step out of line, we are checking IDs prior to you getting service. So if you don't have your ID, you need to go get it. But when you waited until you only had 30 doses left, now you got people who've been here all day who thought they was going to get the vaccine. And now it seems like, oh, y'all going to just start enforcing the rules. Y'all ain't been enforcing. Because I'm sure that them people that y'all gave doses to before that didn't have the right, weren't from St. Joe's. So if I see my neighbor who I know live in the county I live in and it ain't St. Joe's and they got their vaccine an hour ago, oh, now I got a problem. Because now all of a sudden you want to check IDs. Now I'm not justifying or defending bad behavior. I'm just saying I understand how it would feel on the other side. And I feel like the organizers, aka Nova in this case, should have from the beginning said we checking IDs. But anyway, let's get back to what had happened. So Micah is there and he's doing his photography thing. And Hollywood says, listen, the spot, his spot is going to be opening up. He said, it was great for us to do our virtual thing, but now that we can kind of be around each other, we're going to meet in person, and I'm going to open it up officially. He said, and listen, I got some wall space, so if you want to have your own little gallery and put your pictures up, you got the space. And so he was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. That is great. Like, I really appreciate that. Let me rewind a little bit. So Noah's big thing with putting that article out was about defunding the police. Defunding the police, defunding the police. Now, Aunt Vi is upset because Aunt Vi is like, we don't need to be defunding the police because, listen, I was one of them people that needed the police. And I ain't saying that the police are perfect and they always make the right decisions. But when I was getting my head bashed there, I didn't want no social work. I wanted the police to get that man out my house. Okay, social worker comes later. So she don't understand the whole defunding the police. She mad at Charlie because she don't understand why Charlie is dating, getting back with Davis. Okay, she's still mad at Ralph Angel about sending Blue away. So Nova, Ava is just having a moment. But what's interesting is she's still there for him. Like, she's still there helping out with the drive. She's still, but she just doesn't agree with the decisions that they're making and the things that are going on. So when Nova saw that things were starting to get a little hanky, she pulled everybody in. She said, listen, this is what we got to do. We need to start checking ID. We are running low on doses, but we need to make these people a priority that actually live in St. Joe's Parish. And she said, if people start getting nasty or the conversation start going left, you send them to the information desk and we'll handle it. Well, of course, things started going left real fast. People started getting nasty, the white folks that had come in, feeling like they was entitled to get even though they was wrong. Let's be clear. Let me rewind what I said. Let's be clear. They were wrong for showing up. And they knew they was wrong for showing up. All I'm saying is the organizers should have got rid of them from the beginning. That's all I'm saying. But they was wrong, okay? But, of course, now they've been sitting there waiting. And like I said, they done seen other people get the doses, so they ready to get the doses. So it's starting to get real antsy. One guy got, he got mad. He had to get out of line. And he done got out of his truck and went and stole some of the vaccines off the table. And as slow as he was running, I don't know why nobody could have caught him. But that's another conversation, child. So Nova goes, and then Nova makes an announcement over the bullhorn and says what she should have said from the beginning. We checking IDs. We running low on doses. We'll try our best to have another one in the future. But the priority is for the people in this parish. Like, that's who it's for. So she starts noticing people, starting to get a little rowdy. So she was like, let me call the police. And Michael was like, what you gonna call the police for? Like, we don't want them here. She was like, yes, we do, because at the very least, we need them here for crowd control, right? I knew that was going to be a problem then. Why is it going to be a problem? Because you producing articles exposing the police. Now you calling the police for help. I ain't saying it's right or it's wrong. I'm just saying I knew what was going to happen when she called the police. So, of course, the sheriff shows up. He didn't help her. He ain't trying to help her, and he is siding with the white people. And then he told her, he said, well, listen, you the one that want to defund the police. You the one that want to cause problems. You the one that want to make my life harder. So, what you expect from me? She was like, I expect you to be fair. I am being fair. Like, he ain't going to do nothing above and beyond. So then we see Mr. Prosper getting into it with this white woman who's telling him, you letting people go before me. You letting people do this. And I watched you. And he was like, man, there are people that were here that belong in this parish. I know. I've been around them my whole life. I don't know you. And the officer going to come over and say, sir, lower your voice. And he going to grab Mr. Prosper. Mr. Prosper's like, whoa, player. Back up off me. He said, you need to come over here and find out what's going on before you start feeling like you know that you taking sides and tell me to lower my voice. You don't know what the conversation is, and you don't know why I have elevated my voice. And he was like, well, you don't need to do that. And he keep walking up on Mr. Prosper trying to grab him. Mr. Prosper was like, back up off me. Like, no. He's telling him, like, leave me alone. Like, he's doing this, and he keeps taking a step back, and he's telling the police officer, don't touch me. Don't do that. Well, he go to grab Prosper, and Prosper go to pull away. Lord, Mr. Prosper fall on the ground, y'all. What'd he do that for? And that's how we ended it, with Mr. Prosper laying on the ground and them calling for the ambulance. And that cop looking stupid. Y'all know I don't play with my Mr. Prosper. Y'all know I don't play with my Mr. Prosper. So I'll see y'all next week. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.